Hey everybody. All right, our objective today in math is to give names to those fractions we've been talking about, right? So we're taking a whole thing, cutting it into equal parts, and then talking about those parts with fractions. The first part of that lesson came yesterday and a little bit in our quick review today when we recognized that not everything is a fraction. So here I have a circle that I've just chopped up. Some pieces are little and some pieces are big. Those are not fractions. Those are just pieces of a circle, right? In order to be counted as a fraction, the pieces have to be exactly the same. So shape C, yes, is a fraction. And what fraction is it? Well, the first thing you need to do is count how many pieces you have in all. So I have one on this side and one on this side. That is a total of 2 pieces. The bottom number, the denominator, is the total number of pieces. Then the top number comes when you look at how many are shaded or eaten or selected by whatever math problem you're doing. So in this case, I'm going to select this one. Maybe I had a piece of cake, I cut it in half, and James ate half. See? So how much did he eat? Well, he ate 1 out of 2. That's a perfectly acceptable way to name this fraction. This fraction is 1 out of 2. It also has a name 1/2. Either are correct answers. You can say either one. 1 out of 2 or 1/2. The answer that sometimes I hear kids say is 1/2. That's not I know what you mean, but it's not usually what we say. So 1 out of 2, if you're not sure, or 1/2, if you remember the kind of the special name that we give that fraction. Excellent. Let's take a look at some other fractions and we'll give them names too. All right, so I've already done the denominators for you. Remember, the denominator is when you count all the parts, the shaded parts and the not shaded parts. Count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why I put a 6 at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why I put a 6 at the bottom. 1, 2, 3. That's why I put a 3 at the bottom. Those denominators are all the parts. The numerator, the top number, comes when you count how many are selected or shaded or colored or eaten in the problem. In this case, it looks like 3 are shaded in gray, so I'm going to say 3 out of 6. Here, I have more shaded in. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I have 5 out of 6. That's the name of that fraction. And in this case, I have 2 out of 3. If you want to try the fraction names that are a little bit unique, this is called 3/6. And that's tough to say. 5/6 or 2/3. And what I'm really doing there is I'm saying 6, and then I'm putting that TH at the end. 6ths. And that's hard to say, it is, because that TH, the X and the TH and the S all make very similar sounds. 6th. Anyway, 5 out of 6 is just fine. Or 5/6. All right. Here are some real world things that you might be like, why am I doing these fractions, Mr. W? Well, we cut up and share things all the time in the world, right? And you want it to be fair, so all of these have been cut up fairly. And I'm going to be asking kids in the class at 1 o'clock to describe some of these fractions for me. So maybe, for example, I would look at this pizza and I would say, I'm going to eat that much of the pizza. Okay? What fraction did I eat? Well, first thing I always focus on is the denominator, the total. So I'm going to count the green pieces and the normal pieces. I'm going to count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 total. So these are eighths. How many are green? 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are green. So this fraction would be 4 out of 8, or 4/8. Okay? Let's go ahead and eat that apple. What fraction is that? Take a second, pause that video. Describe all of that for the denominator. How many pieces are there in all? And how many are green? 1 out of 4, 1/4. And you could do the same with the other shapes. Okay? That's never happened before. I almost took myself out of the whole thing. So, most of the time, I think kids think of like a circle or a rectangle when they're making fractions, but you can also do it with a long strip of paper or even on a number line. So, just so you know, you can say 1 out of 2, or you can say 1/2. You can say 1 out of 3, or you can say 1/3. This is a tricky one. You can say 1 out of 4. You could say 1/4, or you could even say 1/4. And that's because it kind of connects a little bit to money or to time, because we've taken something and we've broken it into 4 equal pieces. And there's something special about that, where we see that as quarters, right? Half of a half. So these are special names. It gets a little easier when you get bigger, like 1/5, 1/6, 1/7, 1/8. They don't get special names anymore. You don't have to remember third or half or quarter. It's just these 3 very common fractions that get kind of nicknames. But remember, if you're ever stuck in the nickname, you can just say 1 out of 2 instead of 1/2. It's perfectly acceptable. So what you're going to be doing for me is you're going to be looking at a shape and counting how many pieces there are altogether. This circle is divided into how many pieces altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4. Count both the white and the gray. 4 equal pieces. How many are shaded in this case? Well, 1 part of the circle is shaded. So if I had to name this fraction over to the side here, I would say this is 1. See the 1? Out of 4. Okay, so you're going to do these here, and there's only a couple of them. So this rectangle is divided into 3 equal parts. Remember, count all of them for the denominator. And how many parts are shaded? Well, 1 part is shaded. See it right here? 1/3, or 1 out of 3. Now they're going to give you some examples, and you have to circle the one that matches the picture. And it could be a fraction that they're giving you. It could be the word describing the fraction that they're giving you. So for example, this is 1 out of 4. So think about this. The fraction matches the word, and it even matches the number, right? So this one would be 1/2. So I'm going to look for 1/2 the number, 1/2 the word. And they're trying to fool us here. 1/2s. Yeah, I don't know about that. You're going to do a little bit more work on the back side here, where you have to X off the one that is not like the others. You have to X off the weirdo. And then you have to describe a couple more using fractions, both in sentences. And right here, you can maybe off to the side write down that this is 1 out of 2 in the fractional form. So you're using the words and the numbers for practice. Once you get to about here, I'm fine with you sending your work on in to me so I can see your great progress. And there's a fun math game for you on the next slide. Thanks now.